Do you find yourself freezing up during tense engagements in the finals? Well, then this video is exactly what you need to stay calm, stay focused, and most importantly, make good decisions when those moments arise. Let's take a look at this scenario. I take a zipline into a full enemy team. Well, I'm dead for sure, right? Wrong. Not only did I not die here, I walked away with 2 kills. But how? I have a 3-step thinking process that helps me think quickly in these situations that seem unwinnable. So, with that in mind, let's dissect this clip a bit, shall we? Take a moment to think about what I can do right now to get out of danger. Notice that I have both zipline and jump pad in my gadgets that I can use. This brings me to step 1 in my thinking process: resource management. Knowing what resources you have available and when to use them can improve your gameplay so much. When it comes to resource management, we should be asking ourselves, what do we have available to us? In this clip, I knew I had my jump pad available, so I threw it down, catapulting myself into the air to get out of danger. But let's stop here. I want to show you another clip before we discuss steps 2 and 3 of my thinking process. And make sure to learn all 3, especially the last step, as it's the most important. Steps 1 and 2 can't be utilized properly without step 3. In the next clip, I managed my resources to secure an easy team wipe. Pink arrives at the stairs and they use a heavy shield to walk up. I reload my gun, take out my RPG, then I jump down and use my RPG to deal a ton of damage. I notice there are 2 enemies looking at my teammate. The heavy with his RPG out appears to be more dangerous for my teammate, so I winch claw him to me, hoping that he'd either rocket his feet in a panic or waste time switching back to his gun. I used my resource to not only make him waste his resource, but I caused him to damage himself in the process. This demonstrates how important resource management is when it comes to making decisions. I was confident in this fight enough to give up my great position because of the resources I had available. Speaking of positioning, can you guess where I will land in my original clip? I landed on the roof to improve my positioning and to get an advantage, which is step 2 of my thinking process: positioning. We should be asking ourselves, where can we go to get an advantage? Let's finish the clip so you can see how easy it was for me to turn the tides of this fight after I followed steps 1 and 2 of my thinking process. As you can see, thinking about how to manage your resources and looking for ways to improve your positioning can take a situation that looks completely lost and turn it around in your favor. You just have to learn how to stay calm and react with my thinking process in mind. Next, I want to share a clip where repositioning myself allowed me to wipe a team with very little effort. I enter the room and immediately see a full team, so I backpedal instantly. I use my speed as light to go to the other entrance, repositioning myself to give me an advantage while my team distracts them. As you can see, repositioning allowed me to completely stomp this team into the dirt with no danger because they were busy focusing on my team. I went from dead if I stay for another half second to wiping a team with 1 clip of my gun thanks to repositioning and understanding something that I call danger levels, which just so happens to be step 3 in my thinking process. Understanding danger levels is what makes Ruby players seem so impossible to kill. They know exactly when to get out of danger. Just mastering this fight or flight skill will skyrocket your KD ratio and your win rate too. I promise you. And to be honest, this step is more of a feeling that will be different for each person and needs to be fine-tuned to more properly identify when your level of danger is higher than what you should be comfortable with. So let's talk about it. Danger levels is like a slider between 0 and 100 that you want to keep below 50 at all times. Once it goes above 50, look for ways to lower it back down. And if you can't, then it's time to disengage. But how do we even know what 50 is? When are we above or below 50? Well, anything below 50 means you feel comfortable. You have no fear of being eliminated. When you reach 50, it means you believe you have a decent chance of winning whatever engagement you're in. When it's above 50, that's when the alarm bells need to sound in your head. Your situation has become too dangerous, and if you don't disengage, you will lose the fight. Now we know all 3 steps to my thinking process. Let's go back to the first clip and look at how I use all steps in tandem to stay calm and make good decisions. As I engage with purple, what do you think my danger level is? Certainly above 50, probably near 100 if I'm being honest, but we already know. Step 1 comes in clutch here, so I get out of danger by using my jump pad, a resource that I had available. Then comes step 2. I reposition myself to get an advantage. Now what do you think my danger level is? easily below 50. At this point, I'm comfortable turning around and firing at the enemy team. Because I stayed calm, was aware of my danger level, and knew what resources I could use, I managed to pick up 2 kills and we team wiped them. This 3-step thinking process will help you improve your gameplay for sure. But the thing is, you'll have to think about it enough to where it becomes second nature. You need to feel when your danger level is too high. You need to react to each situation with steps 1 and 2 in mind. But how can you become so familiar with my 3-step thinking process that you don't need to think about it anymore? Well, let's take a look at a clip where things don't go as planned for me and how I learn from my mistakes. In this clip, I come in from the enemy's side. I focus a medium who begins to fire back. When his teammate begins to shoot at me, I knew my danger level was above 50, but because I was confident that I could trade and give my team a 2v2 to fight, I didn't disengage. This was a bad idea for a few reasons, but let's focus on the fact that I didn't react when I knew I should have. The moment I knew that fight turned from me getting a kill to me trading my life for theirs, I should have ran behind the wall. And this is exactly how we get better at making micro decisions. I died. I made mistakes. I thought about what I should have done differently. In this instance, I needed to run away. When you make a mistake, you just need to ask yourself, what resources should I have used? Where could I have gone to get an advantage? When was I in too much danger? Could I have disengaged? Cycle through this thinking process until you don't need to think about it anymore. The more often you identify a better play you could have made, the more likely it is that the next time you're in a similar situation, you'll make the right play. Especially identifying when you are in too much danger. Remember, danger levels is a feeling that needs to be fine-tuned to suit what you're comfortable with. It'll be different for everyone. Alright, we've learned my 3-step thinking process. Now, let's take a look at a few more clips. I will pause the clips so you can test yourself. Think about what I will do next based on each situation that I am in. In this clip, I engage with pink very aggressively. My team is behind me and I'm about to die. What do I do here? Trade my life to wipe them, or disengage to let my team finish the wipe? Of course I disengage. Like we just discussed, we should avoid dying as much as possible, even when we know our team will clean up the wipe and we will likely be revived instantly. In this next clip, I get caught out while reloading. Take a look at my resources, and think about my position. What do you think I did next? I immediately look for cover to finish my reload. This position also gives me a slight advantage because it makes my body harder to hit. I turned a potentially losing fight into a winning fight instantly, just by moving a meter to the right. Okay, the last 2 have been pretty straightforward. Let's take a look at 2 more clips that will both be a bit more complex. In this first clip, I engage with an enemy, then quickly realize there's another enemy with him. I want you to think about my positioning, resources, and my danger level before we continue. What do we notice? My position isn't amazing, but can easily run. I also have dome shield and barricades at my disposal. I'm quite healthy and I have my winch claw and RPG up as well. I quickly identified that the other enemy isn't actually looking at me, so I still feel confident that I can win this fight, aka, my danger level is below 50. I winch the first guy, pick up the kill, then immediately start to shoot at the next guy. Then, he winches me. Let's quickly pause again to assess the situation. What do you notice? I have very little ammo left in my clip. I have RPG, and I'm still decently healthy. On the other hand, the heavy that's pulling me has slightly more than 100 HP left. Something worth noting, each partition in the health bar equates to 25 health points. That's how I know. When I get pulled to him, I melee him right away. Remember, meleeing is a resource that we can use too, when the situation calls for it. Then I pull out my RPG, knowing it will be enough to finish off the enemy if I aim near his feet. I jump away to reduce the amount of splash damage I will take, then fire the RPG, picking up a double kill from a 1v2 situation. In this clip, I correctly assessed my danger level, used my resources well, and stayed calm the entire fight. I cannot stress enough how important staying calm is when you are trying to make good micro decisions. Alright, down to the last clip. I engage with the pink team. A heavy tosses a bubble down. What do you think I do next? How can I lower my danger level, but still keep the pressure on? I simply step behind the wall so I can destroy the bubble without taking damage. Then, as the bubble pops, I re-engage, picking up an easy kill. As I start to jump down, I notice they've come up behind us. What should I do next? I stay near the wall so I can heal my teammate and stay out of the enemy's line of fire, keeping my danger level low while still being useful for my team. That's all I've got for this video. Thank you for watching the second video in my series, The Finals Fundamentals. In this video, we talked about micro decisions and my 3-step thinking process to help you stay calm in fights. To review, we need to think about our resources. What do we have that we can use? We need to think about our position. Where can I go to help me win the fight? And lastly, we need to think about our danger level. Am I comfortable in this fight? If not, how can I disengage? Every time you die, you need to think about my thinking process until it becomes second nature. Slowly, you'll learn to react to every situation with these questions in mind. And lastly, stay calm. Thinking becomes so much harder when you have to fight with your feelings just to process what is happening. Now go hop into a game. Stay relaxed and think about every small decision you make. Did you make good decisions? Why were they good? Did you make bad decisions? Why were they bad? But before you do that, make sure to like the video if you found it helpful. And if you're looking to be a better player, the focus of my channel is to help people improve at the finals. So if that sounds good to you, then make sure to subscribe for more content like this. I also have a Discord where you can talk with others that want to get better too. You can also talk with me or ask me questions there. The link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I appreciate your time. And lastly, always remember, you don't need to be the best, you simply need to be better.